Okay. Welcome to today's class on healing with hot chocolate. Loving yourself through the pain. I know that you may be wondering, how does that even work? Healing with hot chocolate. I would have never thought that hot chocolate could be this conduit for healing, which I discovered a couple of years ago through my mentor. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the hot chocolate. I always loved chocolate and just the concept of it. But then as I started to dig deeper and understand all that it could give me and all the support that it's giving me, I'm just like, it's been the answer to my prayer because as I grew up in life, I had a lot of challenges as a child and growing up in my life. I had the career, I had all the things that I ever wanted, but I was so unhappy. I was so stuck in my old programs, my subconscious programming that I later realized that were holding me back and keeping me stuck in pain. I was running away actually from the pain that I had in my heart, and I had shut down my heart. And I worked and I did things because I had to, not because I wanted to, and I didn't enjoy them. Like that was the farthest part of my life. Like joy, no. Uh, I did the things I had to do and I excelled in life, and but I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy my life. And it came to a point where everything was falling apart. And I actually wrote a book. It's called Live Your Best Life: How to Go from Surviving to Thriving. It's available on Amazon and Audible as well. And I wrote about my healing journey through since 2017. In 2020, I wrote the book. And I worked with Bob Proctor and learning how to manifest wealth and abundance. And those are all great things and things that I was able to accomplish, but I was still missing a piece. I was still missing the joy and the pleasure of life. And I wasn't until I realized that my heart was still not free. I wasn't emotionally free to enjoy my life. And so I started this healing journey, and the last couple of years have been really transformational. For now, I can say that like I'm free, literally free. So my other name is Mariposa Libre, which stands for freedom butterfly. So that's my mission in life, is to help people heal and achieve emotional freedom and financial freedom through divine healing. And hot chocolate, which is cacao, the full pure natural state of hot chocolate is cacao. And that's what I'm going to teach you today, is this cacao and the medicinal qualities of it. And it's such a beautiful plant medicine that's been around for ages. Our ancestors used it, specifically my ancestors. I realized my grandmother made cacao, hot, what we call hot chocolate, abuelita's hot chocolate. And it's just been a beautiful connection to be able to open my heart and to allow love in, to change my relationship with love, to change the relationship of how I saw myself and how I see my world. And it's just been such a beautiful journey. And I hope that if you haven't had that experience, that you're open to it and you're here, right? So you are here to learn, and I'm so happy for you. And congratulations for showing up and being here for yourself to learn. So I'm going to share some of the basics on how to make your own cacao at home, how to intentionalize it, and how it can help you every day. I used to drink coffee every day. I was a coffee fiend. I love it's nothing bad. Coffee's not bad. But I used it all day long as a way to give me energy and focus. Well, what I realized is that those ups and downs, because coffee gives you that energy boost, but then you crash. And then you have to take another cup and then you crash. So it's constantly down, like up and down, up and down. Well, that affects the nervous system because we're jolting it and then it crashes. And we're jolting it and then it crashes. And that's not really ideal for us as women or men, because especially if you're coming from a traumatic background, all of the shocking of the nervous system is very damaging. and as well as stress. Like I lived under so much stress that I don't even know how I did it. But cacao helps us, gives us that energy boost, and then we sustain it because of all the nutrients that cacao has. It gives you that energy and it sustains you. So it's a very supportive mineral. It has all the vitamins and minerals to give us the support in our body to sustain that energy and not crash. And there's so many other benefits that we're going to go into today about it. And it's just really beautiful healing medicine of the heart. It's the love medicine. And it's just been such an eye opener for me. So I'm super happy to share this with you today. My name is Celine, aka Mariposa Libre. I was certified under Bob Proctor as a certified coach. So in 2020, I left my career, my professional career. I was a vice president at a mortgage branch. And it was great, but I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I felt like I was missing something. When I was 10 years old, I had a very beautiful experience, a spiritual experience with love, the spirit of love. It was God, life source, universe that came and gave me this beautiful hug. And so ever since then, I've always looked for spiritual solutions and spirit, that love. But it took me like a whole lifetime to finally find it again. And so I was also a certified counselor for healing in the church. I spent most of my life in the church, always volunteering. All my free time went to the church. When I wasn't working, I was at the church and I was volunteering. Um, that's how I felt I was getting a connection, and I always wanted to be in the church, but I didn't know how I can bring that spirit of love all day, every day. In 2020, I retired from my career and I decided to turn my dream into reality, which was to help people heal. And so that's why I wrote my book. I became a certified life coach. But this right here is my purpose, like healing with hot chocolate and helping people realize their dreams. Because a lot of our programming from our subconscious mind, especially from childhood, keeps us stuck. And it's not until we heal those subconscious programs and are able to reprogram our thoughts and our feelings to really point in the direction where we really want to go, how we want to live, we're going to keep holding our own selves back. We're through self-sabotage patterns, through fear, we stay stuck. So hot chocolate helps to heal and to change those subconscious programs. We're going to talk about that today and how that's done. Are there any questions before we get started? We'll have like a 5-minute break in about 45 minutes. But you're free to ask questions in the comments. You can type out your questions as they arise, and then I'll answer them throughout the call. All right, very good. So we'll go ahead and get started here. All right, so healing facts about cacao. Let me make sure I didn't pass one. No, okay. So University of San Francisco recently did a study and it showed that people taking cacao for 30 days and longer experienced an increased production of stem cells from the bone marrow. So if you think about stem cells are those very basic building blocks in our bodies that turn into any other organ, tissue, and help repair our bodies. So this is super important in the healing process, where if you need repair in your body, any tissue in your heart or your legs, your cartilage, these stem cells go and help and conform and build new cells. So this is like magic. This is magic with stem cells. And a lot of research now and a lot of healing protocols in the medicine world, they inject stem cells in people that are really, really sick to help increase their immunity and to help fight off disease like cancer and all of that. Well, this study shows that just drinking cacao for 30 days helps to increase production of stem cells, which is huge, huge. Also, the Louisiana State University discovered the fiber in cacao helps to increase healthy gut bacteria. And this healthy gut bacteria helps increase anti-inflammatory processes as well as increased serotonin production. So, if you think about serotonin, serotonin is a happy hormone. It helps us to feel well, and it's a natural antidepressant. So, a lot of people who suffer from depression, taking cacao will increase those good feelings. And unfortunately, that has run in my family a lot, depression. So, this is a great way to help combat that. It is also the fountain of youth. It helps to stay healthy. It helps to produce collagen in the skin. It helps for healthy hair. I always wanted to find the fountain of youth when I heard it as a little girl. Like, I want to stay young forever. I actually feel younger now than I ever did. I look younger than if you look at pictures of me from 10, 20 years ago, like I feel and look a lot younger. And it also helps maintain healthy body weight, regulates diabetes, diabetes, helps to prevent Alzheimer's and mental degenerative health, mental diseases, because it is so powerful. It sends all these nutrients and vitamins into the brain, and it helps to cure cancer and other diseases. So just for that alone, it's enough reasons to drink cacao. And we're going to go into how what in cacao helps do that. So there's three ways and three methods that cacao helps to heal us. One is our bodies, our heart, and our spirit. So those are like the three approaches that cacao does for us. So it has numerous compounds. So the vitamins and minerals and nutrients in cacao help the body build the compounds that are healing for just the physical body, just the aspects of the physical body. It helps support circulation. It helps to regulate heart rhythm. It improves our digestion. It helps to calm our nervous system, as I mentioned before, right? Because it's that nutrient support. It helps with brain function and gives us that focus and that mental ability to shut down all the thoughts, all the crazy thoughts that come into our mind. It helps us to stay focused and helps us to really, especially when we're manifesting, to focus on the thing that we're manifesting, to focus on that love that we have. Give me 1 second here. Um, and again, it helps to maintain healthy body, right? Healthy weight and body mass and all of that. So it's very, very, very healing in those aspects. For the heart, it is considered the love medicine. Specifically for the heart, it's the specialty in the heart because it helps regulate blood pressure. It opens up the blood vessels, brings more oxygen to the cells in our bodies. And more oxygen in our cells, it means that we are able to remove all the toxins in our cells. Like the body itself regulates and it's able to clear all of that out, as well as drinking a lot of water with it as well, because that cleans out our system, our body. In the spiritual realm, it helps to open up the heart, and it helps us to remove and to become aware of some of those emotional blockages that we may have due to heartbreak, due to maybe bullying as kids, or any traumatic experiences that we might have had that block us from really manifesting what we truly desire and want in life. If we want more love in our life, if we want more wealth in our life, if we want more joy and happiness, it all connects to the heart. Everything comes from the heart. The world that we see outside of us, that we see, that we, can see in the physical, is a direct reflection of what's going on in our hearts. And sometimes that's hard to accept because you're like, I keep having these breakups, or I keep having these issues in my finances, or I keep hitting up walls where I can't move forward and I can't move past these walls. Well, a lot of that is because we're blocking ourselves. We're blocking ourselves from actually receiving it because of this blockages in our heart. It's very energetic. It's very Like we're so unaware of it, and because it's subconscious. It's a subconscious program, and we can't heal what we're not even aware of, right? So it's really important. And this is what opening up the heart does. It helps us to realize like what is going on in our hearts, what is holding us back, what are our fears, and what are the things that we need to release and let go once and for all. But again, it's that awareness. And this is how into the next point is the spirit. It helps us to connect to our spiritual beliefs. Like, well, what do I really believe about myself? What do I really believe about my world? Do I think that the world is against me? Do I think that, there's something that's preventing me because it's not for me? But if you love it and you have it in your heart, then it is for you. It's God, universe wanting it for you. It's a desire in your heart. So it is for you. So there's nothing outside of you that's blocking you. It's usually something inside of us. And it helps us to connect to our consciousness, to our mind, and to our higher self, right? Which sometimes we don't realize that our consciousness is guiding us in the wrong direction until we like redial in and connect to our spirit and our truth. And it's at our awareness of connection to love. And it is through love that we create. I mean, that's how normal circumstances babies come, right? Through love. And that's a physical creation, love manifested, but also our dreams, our careers, our businesses, family, increasing love in our family and our relationships outside of us. But it really begins with the love that we feel inside of us, that we have inside of us, that we can either block it or open it to receive. This is what I realized as I was manifesting, but I wasn't, if I didn't have my open heart, which I didn't, I was blocking all of those blessings that I was asking for, that I was manifesting. So we can manifest all day long, but until we can connect to our hearts and open our hearts and align with our thoughts and our feelings, this is what we did in the beginning with the brain heart coherence meditation. We're connecting our heart with our thoughts, the love, then it can flow. It can flow. So we'll talk about that here in the next few slides. Give me 1 second. I have another business over here. All right. So let's keep going. Any questions so far? Welcome, Malaika. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Welcome. Good to see you. All right. So what does cacao have? The compounds in cacao and the vitamins and minerals are over 300. So it's a super natural food. It's a superfood. I can't think of another one. Maybe there are, but cacao has fiber, protein, riboflavin, niacin, folate, B6. I mean, all of these vitamins, A to Z. It has, and again, these are the foundations that our body helps to create more compounds, more healing compounds. It has the anandamide, which is the bliss chemical. So this is like that bliss factor. I literally, before I found cacao, I manifested like, I want to live my life in bliss. I want to be so happy and so joyous all the time. Like I am in bliss all the time. Well, ta-da! Here's cacao. Calcium. There's calcium in it. I mean, this is why I love it so much. This is Mother Nature's love medicine to us. It's her love for us. It's all her nutrients and all the vitamins from Earth, Mother Earth, put into this cup of love. I call it the cup of love in the chocolate that comes to us. Now, this cacao isn't the one that you buy at the grocery store. That's a cacao powder. This is a full, natural, pure cacao. So it's important to understand that if it's powder, they've already separated most of the nutrients and vitamins that we need. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're going to learn where to buy this beautiful, pure cacao, and then how to prepare it in your home. so that you get the most benefits for you every single day. And I recommend it every single day. I don't drink coffee anymore unless I'm out and visiting. I drink cacao every day now. So the origins of cacao is over 5,500 years old. This is the first seeds of cacao were discovered in Ecuador over 5,000 years ago. So imagine just the time and the length that we've had it. And if you look at the tombs of a lot of the royalty, because only the royalty got tombs and they buried all their treasures there, they buried cacao, the seeds of cacao. And when the Spaniards came to America, in the treasures of the kings, with all the beautiful jewels and the gold, they also had cacao. Cacao was considered the food of the gods. It was literally food for the gods, from the gods to us. So the story goes that cacao came from Sirius, the star Sirius. And when the world comes out of balance, cacao comes out of the jungle to help restore balance on earth through love. And cacao comes in all colors, shapes, and sizes. So here you see yellow and red, but there's purple, there's green, there's like all the rainbow colors. And this is what I love. I've always been connected to the heart. And as a child, that's all I drew. Hearts and rainbows. I think most children do, right? But the rainbow colors also signify in the Bible, right? God's promise to not destroy humanity again, because there was the whole flood and in the theory, right? And God was like, I don't know why I built humanity. They're such evil people. I'm just going to kill them all, except Noah and his family. And so, but God repented and he said, you know what? I'm not going to do that ever again. I'm going to send the rainbow as a symbol of my love and my forgiveness. And so the rainbow signifies that. And when you prepare your cacao, you'll be able to see the rainbow bubbles in your cacao. So it's beautiful, beautiful medicine. So cacao grows around the world about 20 degrees above and below the equator. So it has to be tropical warm climate. And I had the privilege of seeing these trees growing in the jungle in Colombia. And they grow under banana trees and under covering. So they have to have that covering. And they plant banana trees around the cacao so that the insects will go eat the bananas instead of eating the cacao. And they do this the same with coffee, the coffee plants. The tree is called the theobroma tree. The theobroma tree is a beautiful tree, as you see here. And it is considered a tree that connects the divine into the underworld. And the tree itself is just this conduit of just the three different planes. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful tree. The flower, oh, I love the flower. It's super tiny. I have one on my phone here. It's super tiny. It's unisex, so it's female and male all at the same time. And the cacao grows from it like a small chili pod, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing until it gets to like this beautiful size. And in each pod comes about anywhere from 50 to 100 seeds. And so when you open it, you'll see the seeds, and it has this white pulp, and this pulp is sweet. But the pod is not ready to eat. It goes through a process. So they ferment the seeds with a creamy white filling, and then they ferment it for about a week. They dry them out, and then they're ready to roast. So you can actually buy the seeds unroasted or roasted. And then it goes through the process of grinding. So in the ancient, and even in Guatemala, because I did my pilgrimage there in Colombia, we use like a volcano rock and like a rolling stone to smash the cacao. It's a whole ceremony. It's a beautiful ceremony. Like I love doing ceremonies that way. We're grinding the cacao, we're putting our intention, the love in it, and then it becomes this mix, which is like, it looks like, well, the hot chocolate that you saw in the previous pages. And then you want to bring it with water, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But So again, it was used in weddings, funerals, and anniversaries, but it was used again for well, in the beginning, it was for everyone, right? Women, children, everyone. And then it turned into a commercial. It got commercialized, and the women and the children were taken away from the ability to have this beautiful medicine, and it was only for the wealthy and the kings. And when the Spanish came to America, they found this cacao and they took it to Europe. And of course, they all loved it. And they created these chocolate houses. So, like Starbucks, it was chocolate houses. And again, the rich and the wealthy men went in there and had their little cacao and chocolate and tobacco, and they enjoyed that. And so this it spread, but eventually they started separating the good qualities and they just made it into the powder. And so that's how they made even more chocolate. And they actually used to pay people in the war with cacao beans. Like it literally was worth more than gold. So imagine just the beauty and the power in it. Healing needs. So let's talk about some of the needs that we have as humans for cacao. You think about in a day, just in a day, conscious thoughts, we have about 60 to 70 conscious thoughts. And usually we're thinking about the past, right? What happened yesterday? What happened when I was little? What happened with my ex? What happened with my job? Blah, blah, blah. 90% of them are the same. So we are ran by our subconscious mind. 95% of what we do every single day is automatic. Automatic. We're not really thinking about most of what we do every day. So we usually get up around the same time every day. We usually sleep on the same side of the bed. We usually do the same routine every morning, take the same drive to work, sit in the same place at lunchtime. I mean, if you think about it, most of our day is automatic. And that's by nature, right? Our body's built that way. But also our emotions. The thoughts that run through our mind create this energy and emotions within our bodies. And our body is used to it. It becomes very used to it. And if you go and you try to change something in your day, you'll notice how hard it is to break habits, right? How many of you have tried to break habits in the past? And it takes just a lot of effort to break those old habits, right? Because we have to reprogram really our thoughts and our feelings. But what happens is that our body, again, for example, in my example, right, I was addicted to anger. And I say addicted because my body became so used to that feeling that I found any excuse to get mad. And I not always would even like verbalize it. It was just internal. Like, I'm so angry at this traffic. These people are so annoying. This work is, I hate emails. I still hate emails, but back in the day, that's all I did. I worked emails. So like just very negative in my thinking, right? I'm like, it's just always complaining about everything in my life and in my day. Well, that addiction, that also stress. I mean, stress, those hits of those um what's it called? Adrenaline rushes, right? Of being in the stress mode. That's a very addictive cycle as well. So sometimes we'll go find reasons because we are giving off that energy and those thoughts create more of those repetitive patterns. We'll attract the same kind of partner. My whole life, I attracted narcissistic partners, right? I even in business, like I realized how I kept attracting the same type of person. It's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna get in a love relationship. I'm just gonna focus on business. But even in business, I kept attracting the same figure, which was the same type of man like my father. So it wasn't until I sat back and I realized, like, oh my God, like I am still in the same pattern because I hadn't healed that part of me. I hadn't opened up my heart to feel and release. You see, what we're not willing to feel, we can't heal. And so we'll keep this repeating cycle, this just never ending cycle until we decide to change. And usually what happens is we have a major life event, whether it's divorce, death in the family. We hit like just the top of the limit, like we can't continue this way. And that's when we start to look for things to change and to look for answers as to why we keep repeating, why did I keep doing this cycle? Like, and so this is when I started to realize, like, oh my God, cacao is a conduit because I never felt safe enough to open my heart. I never felt safe. There was always a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of from people outside, especially in the church, not to say anything, just the people that I met in the church, but also from inside of me. Because I grew up in a household where there was a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. You know, my father worked all the time. My mother was raising 6 kids. And I, as the eldest, had to take on a lot of responsibility as like an adult. My parents were immigrants to the US, so I had to translate for them. I had to make sure the rent got paid. I had to kind of help my mom with the finances. And I just grew up really fast and I wasn't allowed to have fun. I had to be perfect. I had to be the one that set the example for my siblings. And those patterns of feeling and thinking I kept repeating in my life. I didn't allow myself to have fun. I became responsible for everyone in my family, even though number one, that wasn't my place. Two, they didn't ask me, but I felt like this just big sense of responsibility. And then even in my own family, I felt responsible to take care of my house and take care of even my husband and his needs, my ex-husband now, you know, his needs and take care of everyone else except me, right? But that was a conditioning, that was the subconscious program pattern that I had instilled in me as a child. And through it all, I never felt safe. I never felt good enough or worthy enough to really feel my needs and to live really the life that I wanted. I was always people pleasing and making everyone else happy except myself. And so human suffering is a condition of reliving the past. This is our human suffering, is that we keep stuck in these cycles, these emotional rides and roller coasters where we're thinking about the past. And then if we think about the future, we get anxious, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. And of course, as human beings, we always think about the worst things that could happen. That's just human nature, right? That's our body ego trying to protect us from the outside world. So we always think about the worst things because if we look at the past, we broadcast that into the future, right? So the only time that we can actually heal and change is in the now, right here, right now, in the second, in the present. And this is what cacao allows us to do, is to come into the present, to be feeling safe enough to open our hearts, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to accept a new way of being, a way of joy, of love, of peace, of health, of wealth, right? But we have to be open to receive it because we can call it in all day long. Like, yes, I affirm it. Yes, I write it. Yes, I connect to it. But really, when the changes start to happen in our thoughts and in our emotions, that's when everything comes in. So we're going to talk about the heart versus the brain. Who's really in charge? So in 1997, there was a research that showed that the heart emits on any normal second about 20 photons of light. Okay. But when we get into a meditative state, our heart releases over 100,000 photons per second. So imagine that. Look at the exponential growth and just the amount of light energy that our heart emits when we get into a meditative state. When we calm the thoughts down, we actually shut down the brain and we just focus on our heart and love and peace and joy. It's a huge change, huge change. Our thoughts emit electromagnetic energy. And so they've been able to pull these caps on people's brains and they measure the amount of energy that's given off by our thoughts. Well, the heart also has brain neurons, just like our brain, but it's in our heart. There's about 40,000 brain neurons in our heart. So our heart has its own brain. It's called the little brain. But this little brain is so much more powerful than all the brain together, because the heart itself emits 5,000 times more electromagnetic energy than the brain. That's how powerful our heart is. And they can actually measure this electromagnetic energy around our heart. It's like a donut shape, so it's a spherical shape. And then the heart in the chakras, the heart color is green or soft pink. But in a normal, any person's average heart electromagnetic energy can be felt up to 3 feet away. It can actually measure it with instruments. But when we're in this meditative state and we're just full of love, it can emit up to 8 feet, just like close to the heart, 8 feet out. It can radiate this love all around us. That's just the power in it, right? It's just the heart was formed first in the womb. So when those of you that had children or that know, you go to the doctor, and what's the first thing you feel and hear? It's the heart. It's the first organ that's formed. And the brain comes later. But the heart is really just the first thing, is so powerful that's formed in us. Now, we think that the brain sends messages to the heart, but it's actually the opposite. There's more information coming and direction coming from the heart to the brain. So and they measured it with the neural pathways. There's more connections from the heart leading to the brain. And it's just so powerful. So when we're thinking about all these racing thoughts, right? All the things that could go wrong, the list of things I have to do, we can create this incoherence in our brain. So they've measured it. So we have all these scattered brain patterns because one's thinking this and that, and we start focusing on all, especially when we're in stress, we start thinking about this thing and that thing and the other thing and right? We create this incoherence. And stress as well. We'll talk a little bit about stress. We're taking life source away from us when we are in stress. So we're taking all the energy for our body to function properly, and we're putting it into the heart, because now the heart is pumping more blood through the body, trying to resolve the issues, right? Because if you think about it, when we're in stress, especially in the beginning, before recent times, if there was a saber-toothed tiger chasing you, like your focus was like to safety. We either think about running, fighting, or hiding. Those are the 3 natural reactions that we'll have to danger, to imminent danger. And so our body pumps all this blood and gives all this energy to do one of those 3 things. It narrows our focus to a tunnel, like just. So when we're in stress, everything shuts down. We're just focusing on one thing, but then we're focusing on one thing or another and another and another and another, and we're not feeling safe. We're not feeling safe in our bodies. And so our brains create these very incoherent patterns. Now, it's great for short term, right? To get out of danger, like physical danger. But if we're constantly living in stress, like I used to live in stress, terrible stress, it could cause damage to our organs. Stress is the #1 killer. It leads to other diseases, right? Heart disease, kidney failure. It helps, all these toxins build up in our body. So anytime you have a blockage or pain in your body, you have to look at that. Like, why am I feeling this way? Where is this coming from? And this is all what I teach. And so there'll be an opportunity in the end. I'll give you more information about that. But when we're able to calm our bodies and get into this brain heart coherence of love and peace, like we'll emit these beautiful brain patterns. And it's all been measured by the Heart Math Institute. So when our brain and our heart are in coherence and we're feeling emotions of peace and love and tranquility, our brain starts to beat in this beautiful brain pattern. It's gamma rays, so we call them. And like it's this connection to the divine, to the divinity, to life source, to universe. And this is a state that you want to be in because this is when we start to heal. And this is when we start to bring in the manifestations that we're calling forth from universe, from God. And they start to manifest in the 3D world. Because now we're this open channel and we start to bring in the physical, in the 3D, all the desires of our hearts, because now we're open and we're willing to receive. And in gratitude, an attitude of gratitude changes everything like that. But it's being grateful for the things that we have, but also for the things we're calling in. But we can only do that in the gamma state. If our brain is not coherent with our heart and we're racing and our heart and our minds are racing, we're thinking about the past, we're anxious about the future, we're in fear, like we're going to keep blocking ourselves. We're going to keep hitting a wall. So this is super, super, super important. Yes. I am as well, Tina. I'm a nerd when it comes. I love science. Like I want to be a scientist. I want to be many things, but I do love science and how science backs this up 100%. Yes. So how do we bring this vision of ours in our heart? I mean, the indigenous people knew how to do this. And this is why this knowledge has been, I think, suppressed because it's so powerful, right? And it's why we're here. Learning to create a new vision for the future through our consciousness. It's just becoming aware of our subconscious programs, being able to identify what's holding us back, being able to clear those self-limitations, being able to heal our hearts, to heal our wounded child, because we all have an inner child in us that sometimes screams at us for attention, but if we're not listening, we can override them and continue down our patterns until we hit, that brick wall where it's like, okay, it's time to change. We hopefully we don't get there, right? There's two ways to learning. One is through pain, or one is through fear. Pain or fear. I've learned I've learned that I no longer want to learn from pain. I've had enough pain in my life. I'm done with that. I'm going to follow my joy, follow my bliss. But in order to do that, I had to open up my heart. I had to feel vulnerable enough to be able to do that. And cacao gave me that support. Cacao gave me that structure in my body and also the support and the loving energy of mother cacao, which is beautiful when we can do that in like a ceremony. We can connect to our higher consciousness because we heal ourselves. Our body heals ourselves. You don't have to change religions or anything. It's just your faith, your belief is what heals us, heals you. And being able to trust in ourselves and to feel our love and love ourselves. Like I thought I loved myself. Yeah, I love myself, sure. I did not love myself enough to believe in myself, to trust myself, to trust my decisions, to follow my heart. To live from the heart is the most courageous thing that you can do. And that's why a lot of people don't do it because, like for me, I thought living with an open heart means that you're going to be stepped on and people are going to abuse you and use you. And so I had to be this hardened heart to run a business, to operate, to not allow people to take advantage of me. Like I was like, "Urgh," like nobody's getting close to me. And so I created this like thick wall where nobody could really penetrate. Nobody really knew me. I didn't let anybody in. That's not a way to live. It's not a way to enjoy life, right? So when we can connect to what do we truly want for our life? What do we truly desire? What are my limitations? What's holding me back, right? To become aware enough. That's where the consciousness come in, is where we can observe ourselves doing what we're doing. And then why am I doing that? And then clearing that is how we can clean our subconscious plates and start over. The beautiful thing is that we get to create anything we want. We're co-creators with life source universe. You have the power. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to heal. It's all within you. But how do we get that out, right? How do we get to that point? Well, that's where cacao comes in. It's just a great support for us, loving healing medicine. So I'd like to take a pause now and ask if you guys want a 5-minute break or if you want to keep going. I'm open to either one. I need a 5-minute, 3-minute function.
I personally don't need a break. I'm good. I just went and got something to drink. So
Okay, yeah, we'll give you five
same, I'm
minutes.
good.
Okay, give you 5 minutes, 3 minutes. We'll come back here in a little bit. I'll put on some music. We'll start here back in 5 minutes. All right. Let me know when you're back. Continue.
I have a question. Is
Yes.
that okay?
Yeah.
It's you mentioned that the flower is unisex, and I know that Bird has mentioned before that the medicine was feminine in nature. Can
Mm-hmm.
you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah. It's feminine in nature mostly, but it's also masculine energy. So it's healing for both sides. Like I realize for me, I need to heal both energies, feminine
Mm-hmm.
and masculine. And because really that's where we come from. We come from male and female, right? But also in order to manifest our life dreams, we need both feminine and the masculine. But the flower itself is unisex. So it's both. So cacao really is what we need the most, right? And it's a journey. So like I've gone through so many different phases of my healing journey with cacao that sometimes I'm focusing on the feminine, which I started with my feminine, and now I'm like into the masculine, healing the masculine.
Okay, got it. So the pods itself is feminine, but the flower is unisex.
Mm-hmm.
I
Correct.
just Googled it. It says the stamen, which produces the pollen, is the male part, and the female part, the pistil, contains the ovary.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So it is both, like
So
you
it's,
said.
yeah, it's
Okay.
considered a hermaphrodite flower.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. And when we look at how well everything in like everything in life, we need both, right? If you look at just the cup and how we prepare cacao, the cup is like the feminine, the holding, right? That's like our womb, it's the holding. And the spoon or whatever you use to mix your cacao, that's the masculine, right? And so when you're mixing your cacao, you're preparing it with the feminine and the masculine energies. So everything in life, we need both. Like even a purse, right? When you have your purse, you have the pocket, the pouch that holds our belongings, and then we have the strap, which goes around our arm or on our backs. Like that's the masculine part. So there's always both. We need both. We need a balance of both. And that's actually super important in manifest. And you need the feminine energy, and then the masculine energy is the one that goes out and does the things that we need to do. The physical action. It's like this the moon and the sun, right? The moon is a feminine energy, just the receiving, especially at night. It's all feminine energy, just flowy, beautiful. And then masculine energy is the day, the sun, the fire, the power, like, oh, let's go get things done today.
Yeah,
So
in the book, real quick, in the book club that I'm in, we were reading that Women Who Run with Wolves, and we just read the chapter on that where our feminine energy gives us our creativity and all
mhm.
the ideas, but it's the masculine energy that we have that gives us the push to do it.
Yes, yes, exactly. And if we're not aligned with our feminine energy, we could do things in the masculine all day long, but it'll take us longer. It's like doing things in the 3D world with time and dimension here in the now and in this physical world. It takes a lot longer to do things. And then when we do achieve it, we may not enjoy it. It may not be where we wanted to take our energy. Like for me in the financial world, like yeah, I did all the things and it was super masculine energy all day. Very little left for creativity. I wasn't in my feminine at all. I was just doing and doing and doing and doing and doing, but my nature, I wasn't being myself. I wasn't being my feminine self. Actually wasn't even really accepted because I was all up against all these males and I was like super like do go 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 da 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 go go, and it was just like exhausting. So we need both, but we do need it. And we do need it because we can't also be in our feminine all the time. We can't be creating all the time in our mind. Like we need, but it's 80-20. 80% is creation, being in the feminine energy. I mean, it really depends for everyone, but it's whatever we need in the moment. That 20% is the action, it's the doing, but it's when we're aligned with our feminine, right? So It's super, super important. I dropped a link in here for you if you'd like to join my group, my WhatsApp cacao community group. You're welcome to click on that. And then I'm also going to share my, which I'll give it to you guys a little bit later to be able to order cacao and all the good stuff. All right. So let me go back to sharing. Okay. We'll continue. Oops, not that one. Anybody have any questions so far? Any other questions? All right. Very good. So we were talking about how the present helps us to create a new future, right? When we're calm, when we're connected to our true selves, when we have our heart open, when we can start to become aware of what are our blockages, what's holding us back, and connect to spirit, to our feminine energy, right? Because spirit is also very feminine, and to start to create within. What we feel and think and believe in our internal world is what manifests outside of us. Right? So what we're thinking, so in order to change our future, to change our conditioning, or change our subconscious program, when we become aware and we catch ourselves thinking a negative thought, thinking a self-limiting belief, like that's the moment, the golden opportunity to change that, to say, you know what? I forgive myself for thinking this thought. I forgive myself for believing an untrue story, because we paint the story, right? I release it, I let it go. And there's many ways to do that through meditation, which we'll have an opportunity to do some of that if you so desire to. And I'll tell you how. All right, spirituality. So in ceremonies, this is where we release a lot of this pain and clearing the negative energies. We cleanse our auras, and in these ceremonies, we can actually help reduce anxiety and those feelings of depression. And we can increase the love of self and the love for others and the forgiveness, right? A lot of times we hold resentment. I didn't realize how much resentment I was holding against the people in my life until I started going within. Like, it's a connection to the heart, to your inner self, your spirit. And I started to realize, like, all these things start just revealing themselves to me. And I'm like, wow, like, thank you. I didn't realize I was still holding on to this, and that was holding me back. Because spirit can't flow, this feminine spirit of creation can't flow if there's blockages. If I have unforgiveness, if I have self shame, pity for myself or against someone else, because that's like a blockage, right? So we want to release that. And so we're able to reach higher level of consciousness and connect to ourselves and source through these very deep connected ceremonies. And we can receive these messages, receive this love, this beautiful love from the plant, from God, Dios, universe, because the plant itself, the medicine is just a conduit, right? It has its healing powers, yes, but it's also like the opening of our hearts, the opening of our third eye, the opening of our consciousness, connecting to our intuition, to being able to trust our intuition. You know, a lot of times I had these gut feelings, but I just kept ignoring them, shutting them down. Like, no, that's not true. No, they can't be. I don't accept that. I don't want it. But that was my inner guiding system, my GPS, internal guiding system that I kept like holding and suppressing. And then looking back, I'm like, I knew it. I like knew it, but I didn't listen to myself. I didn't do what my heart was telling me to do. I was going against myself. I was going against my own creations. And I was allowing these terrible things to keep happening to me because I kept stuck in this program, my childhood circles, cycles. And it's like peeling an onion. Like, there's different layers. There's layers upon layers upon layers of things that have been released and cleared. because I had so much. I had suppressed so much through my life. Like I didn't feel my heart. I didn't want to feel my pain, but I also didn't feel joy. I didn't feel love. I didn't feel anything. I was like stone. And when people unfortunately pass away because of a heart failure, right? A heart attack, heart failure, it's usually because they have a broken heart that they weren't able to heal. So it's super, super, super important to clear our hearts, to open our hearts, to heal our hearts, to let love in, to let that light in. But it starts with our own light and our own love. That's where we find that inner healing and inner peace and create that heaven within. Like when I grew up, I thought heaven was outside. Heaven was this place that when we die, we get to go if we're good, right? But I've realized now that we create heaven in our hearts, or we can create hell on earth for ourselves. I found myself like creating all these situations that were just like hellish for me, but it wasn't anybody but myself creating them until I realized, like, oh, it's this from childhood. I got to let that go now. I got to go to my spirit and ask for help and guidance to help me release it. And it happens. It's like magical when we focus our intention and our energy to healing and using cacao as this beautiful conduit medicine to help us get there. Like it helps lift us up and take us there in a very loving, gentle way where we can feel safe enough in our bodies and in spirit to be able to do that. Unfortunately, my mother wasn't able to give me the love that I desired or wanted. So I always felt disconnected to her and to love in general. I did a post about right before I found the medicine of cacao, and it said, what's the first thing that comes to your thought when you think of the word love? So as I posted it, I started to think like, wow, I'm getting all these feelings of pain and shame and guilt. Like, what is going on? I was like, that's not good, right? I was aware enough to know that like I had to work on that. And this was after I wrote my book and everything. I'm like, oh wow, I have a lot of work to do. And that's when I started to open up and Cacao found me. Cacao finds us. It's not us going out to find her and look for her and look for the answers in hot chocolate. It comes to us, right? And it came through me through my coach, Bert. All right, spiritual healing. This is where the beauty of the medicine and connection to source comes in. Like cacao spirit helps us to turn on that fire within us, connect to our fire, to our inner power, and release and burn away all these old dense energies that have been stuck in our bodies. One of my teachers that also studied medicine here in Colombia, so I'm not in Colombia right now, but she always taught me that cacao and the fire of healing starts within the word in English I want to, in Spanish is calderon, which is the cauldron. Yeah. Um, it's where we mix the cacao, right, in this beautiful pot, and we put it over the fire in ceremony. And this is where the chemical reactions start with the fire, right? The alchemy happens. The fire and then the water, which is purifying, cleansing spirit, right? And this beautiful plant medicine, which we can also add spices to. And there's an opportunity to journey with me and learn how to do all of this too. Mix different elements in it and mix it with the male part, right? We're just mixing it there and we're making this beautiful medicine that's healing and calling in the spirit of cacao, calling in the spirit of love, calling in the spirit of forgiveness, and all of these beautiful health, wealth, and beautiful energies that we're putting into and tending into our cacao. And it's the sacred fire. And that fire also starts in our own home, in our own kitchen, right? Starting that fire in the kitchen is what brings families together. And if we think about in tradition, the family gathered around the fire. There was usually a fire going on at night, and all the family would come around, and the elders would talk and tell the stories and share the wisdom and the knowledge with tobacco and the kids there playing. Like, that was connection. That's connecting to source, to ourselves. And fire has these beautiful sacred energies of transformation and healing, right? That's what fire does. It's like rapid transformation. And so we're bringing in these four elements into our cacao: fire, earth, wind, and water into our cacao. And it gives us this beautiful transformation internally so that we can change our external world, right? Offering all her nutrients, all her vitamins, all her minerals. And it's like, it's just like so good. Like, I can't imagine going a day with, I ran out for a week. I was like, fine, waiting for my cacao to come. But I love it. Just this beautiful, loving energy that comes from Mama Cacao. Mama Cacao is so gentle and so loving. It's like holding us in her arms like a baby and cradling us and supporting all of our hurts and all of our pain and helping us to release. This is how I was able to heal a lot of those emotional traumas that were still stuck in my body from childhood through her loving, gentle energy that I had never felt before. I didn't feel it from my mother. I didn't feel it from my father. I didn't feel it from my siblings because I just wasn't feeling it for myself either. I didn't feel it from my exes, but the whole time it was there, I just had blocked myself so much from receiving it that Mama Cacao was the only one that could really help me to feel safe enough to open up to love again, to open up my heart and to let go. So cacao helps us to go back to that natural state of love and peace and tranquility and feeling this deep connection to life source, to universe, to the world around us, where it's not bad. There's nobody out to get me. There's nobody out to get me, but I thought this was the feeling, the program that ran in my body since I was a child. And so it's helping me to connect. It helps us to open up and connect to the world around us and to build, to connect to humanity once again, right? Because when we're in this fear and flight mode, we're disconnected. We're just focusing on the right here, right now, and we forget about ourselves, forget about others. And so it's this beautiful, natural, very beautiful, loving connection to ourselves and the world around us and our family, and building relationships based on love and healthy boundaries and healthy feelings, not toxic, not trying to control, not trying to fix people, not doing all these things for others, but really having this balance, this internal balance where we can love ourselves and love others, right? So the way that we can prepare cacao, which I'll tell you here. So you want to make sure you buy the full body cacao, right? So it's called ceremonial cacao. It's not the cacao. Now you can buy the nibs and you can buy the beans. I know they sell the nibs on Amazon, but I'm also going to give you a link where you can buy them directly from a beautiful source called Cocoluca. They actually ship it from Hawaii and they source their cacao from Mexico. And the cacao is beautifully grown and it's fair market price. So people aren't getting underpaid or working in slavery. Um, and they just prepare it with a lot of love and a lot of support, healing qualities for us. You can buy the cacao, ceremonial cacao from there. I also have a link for Europe. And then I'm also starting my own cacao I'm selling from Colombia. That's up and coming. Actually, it's already done. I just have to make sure it can ship to the US before. So I'm going to share that later. But so you want to get the full body cacao. And if you buy it already in ground format, or it could come in a pill, you can, break it down into smaller pieces. And then you want to bring your water to almost a boil. You don't want to boil your water because that can destroy the healing qualities of water. And you want to source your water and make it be the most pure quality of water that you can find. Usually not the one from the sink because that's already so chemically treated. But if you can find a source like natural spring water, it's the best way to prepare a cacao, and almost to a boiling point, but not boiling, right? So warm water, and then you mix it with your cacao again in the pot or in your cup, and then you just mix it with your full intentions. You want to clear any negative thoughts you have right before you make it, because whatever intention you put in there magnifies. So it's very powerful, and so you have to be really, really careful that you are only thinking beautiful, happy thoughts, because whatever you're putting in there is going to be super potent. And as you're mixing it, you have the intention in your heart and in your mind, even from the moment you start touching the water. There's a lot of also proof that the thoughts and words you say into water will sustain that energy, right? So they did a test. I don't know. I'll share it really quick. So they did a test of 3 waters with rice, and one cup of water. They said beautiful words to it. The second one, they said super negative words to it, and then the third one they totally ignored. And so they measured to see what would happen over time. And the water that they gave beautiful words just continued to stay beautiful and clear and clean. The second one, where they said negative, nasty words to, it rotted faster and it was ugly. And then the water that they completely ignored was 10 times faster in getting dark and black and tarnished. And so that goes to show that energy is everything, right? And when you feel totally ignored, it's worse than being told negative things. Well, I was the last case. Like, I was totally ignored. So my waters had a lot of clearing to do. And so what's going to happen is you set your intention, you say beautiful words to the water and to your cacao, and you set your intention, and then you drink it, right? This is for daily use. We recommend about 11 to 12 grams of cacao in your daily usage. So it's about two tablespoons full of cacao. In ceremony, we use up to 4 tablespoons. So this is when you're doing a ceremonial dose and ceremonial cleansing. It's about 40 grams of cacao. And my teacher recommended I do 40 for 3 months or just ceremonial dosing. I don't remember how much she's on, but I was doing ceremonial dosing for a long time, almost a year, and totally cleared so many things from my heart. And 3 months after, I literally felt my heart just bloom, like open up. And that's where we want our heart, is to be like this beautiful open flower that can receive and give all of our loving energy, and receive that loving energy from life source universe and all the creations that we create, right? From our heart, from our womb, and then connecting that to our thoughts and feelings. Like, we can literally start to change the chemical reactions in our bodies. And we know that energy, what manifests, our energy manifests. So whatever we're thinking and feeling, the majority of the time manifests. So we're constantly in the state of love and flow and ease. And of course, I do my affirmations as well every day to get me aligned. And then that's when I go to work. Because if I'm not feeling well and my energy's all chaotic, I'm not going to be able to function and create anything for myself that day. So I've just really been going within and staying and holding the space in my heart. And now, I do the same for others. So there's a question. If it helps to melt in transit, is it good? Yes, it is still good. It will reharden and it's fine. Yeah, especially in Arizona. So hot. It's okay. Nothing's gonna happen if it melts. It's just gonna be hardened, and you can just melt it with the hot water again. Yeah. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plant medicine. I just can't say enough. It's my mission to share this medicine. It's been lost. Like I said, it was here 5,000 years ago. The indigenous people the first thing they teach is how to live from the heart. And in Western society, we're taught to lead from our brain, from our thoughts, right? It's conscious thinking, which is really subconscious thinking, because it's really the body and the heart that controls the mind, right? But if we're stuck in these old patterns and feelings, we're going to keep reliving these past feelings. when we start to change, when we want to change something in our life, right? We become aware. It's like 3% consciousness. But then we have to overcome 95% of our mind is our subconscious mind. So then like all these past feelings overcome this 3% that we're trying to use to change. And we just don't change. Because there's this whole body of evidence like this is why you shouldn't, this is bad for you, this is not good for you, da, 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 trying to keep us safe, right? Our body's just trying to keep us safe. It's really hard to overcome with just our thinking mind. That's where we have to connect to our heart to start to change some of these programs and these patterns so that our whole mind and body are aligned and we can start to manifest the desires within. But if we just try to do with our thoughts, it's going to be impossible. Like it's so hard. Like I found this for myself, but once we connect to our hearts and we can heal and release what's holding us back through this beautiful plant medicine, it's like the world opens up. And we can start to think about and meditate and do the things that we truly desire and remove those self-limiting blocks and start to live a life that we really enjoy and that we really, really love. Do I ever hear a voice? Yes, I do. I do hear her talking to me. So when you're in this meditation, like when you're just open to receive messages, you just receive whatever thoughts come to your mind, whatever feelings, good or bad, is the truth, is what's real for you, right? And we can decide to alchemize that and to change that because if we no longer want it, right? Like, okay, now I'm going to release this. And in ceremony, it's a great opportunity to do that, right? I've been doing my own ceremonies every day for the last 2 years, connecting to source, to universe. So here's a special invitation for you. I'm doing a 5-day journey with the medicine of cacao with whoever wants to join me. And we're going to have ceremonies every day. So it's kind of like a way for you to jumpstart your journey with cacao on a daily. So it's 5 days back to back. We'll figure out a time. It's on Zoom. And you can come with your cup of cacao and we'll do ceremonies and we'll do some of this clearing work that we're talking about now. And I'll help you teach you how to build your own method, your own way of connecting to cacao. I'll help you set up your altar if you'd like to have an altar and just help you clear and teach you how you can clear your own self-limiting beliefs. Because a lot of times, I became aware, but I didn't clear them. So it's like, okay, I have the knowledge that this is my problem, but I didn't know how to really let it go, to really release it and receive that healing, loving medicine. So this is what I'll teach you in these 7 days. And yeah, it's a beautiful journey. I love teaching these classes. It's my purpose and mission in life. It's just to help people heal. And, there's many ways, obviously, that this is not the only way. There's many different ways. But this is the best way for me because of the loving, gentle medicine that I couldn't feel safe enough with anything or anyone else. So this medicine has been, it's been this connection to myself. So yes, I feel, I hear the messages. Whereas before I would hear them, but I would doubt myself and I'd be like, no, it just can't be real. But it's not a loud voice that I hear with my ears. It's hearing it with my heart. It's feeling it and understanding and trusting myself. So I didn't trust myself before. I didn't trust myself. So I didn't trust others and I didn't trust spirit. I didn't trust spirit because I know I grew up with this program paradigm that God was sitting on a throne judging me for everything I did wrong, and everything that happened in my life was a result of my punishment for not being good enough, right? Until I realized like that's not God at all. That's not spirit. Great spirit is love and accepts me for who I am exactly as I'm. Like I don't have to change anything about myself. That's when I started loving and accepting myself without any shame, without any guilt, and started being me. being my feminine self, which I had rejected my whole life. Like, I wish I was a man my whole life. Like, I wish I was, because ever since we were little, like, we're taught, like, oh, families want boys, they want men. And where I worked, it was all men. And it was just so difficult for women, especially being a minority woman. Like, no, I had to work 10 times as hard, prove myself 10 times more than everyone else. And, I had a very successful team, very successful career, but I wasn't happy. I made a lot of money, but I wasn't happy. But now when we align, like everything comes in joy, health, wealth, happiness, like breathe, to be me. So those are some of the liberating forces that come when you open up your heart and just start living from your heart, and the peace and the joy and the love that comes with creating whatever life you want to live, right? Since then, I've started 3 different businesses. I'm loving life, traveling. I love to travel. When I was little, that's all I wanted to do. We had a subscription coming to our house for National Geographic. And I would just sit there and watch all these beautiful countries and stories. I'm like, I want to go there when I grow up. Like, I want to be there. So as a little kid, I was already like visualizing my life. Like, this is how I want to live my life. I want to live by the beach and the ocean and go to the beach I love the water. Love the water and the ocean. So anytime I get a chance, like that's where I want to travel, to all the beautiful beaches in the world. And I've been going and living near the Caribbean Ocean, which I love. Like, oh, so healing. It's a beautiful journey, right? But we have to allow ourselves the opportunity to do that, to go there, to be the person we want to desire. But again, we can't create it in the future. We have to start living it in the now. We have to start vibrating those emotions and feelings, right? Manifesting the life of our dreams means like living it now in that energy, because energy attracts like energy, right? So once we can start to heal our bodies, heal our subconscious programs, heal our hearts, we start to open up to receiving those energies, those vibrations, holding on to that frequency. In the beginning, I was able to hold on to maybe 30 seconds. And that's really, really important, to at least 30 seconds visualize, meditate on your vision, your end state, and holding on to that energy as much as you can in your heart before your programs come in of doubt and fear, right? It's just holding on to it as long as you can is really powerful. But when you start living in it, in that energy now, like the world opens up. Your dreams manifest like super fast. So, yeah.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes. Hi,
Hi, good
welcome.
morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you. Yes. Um, excuse me. I've been trying to join the WhatsApp and it's taking me to WhatsApp business, but I do not have my WhatsApp business set up.
Mhm.
Um,
I don't think you
what
need
do I,
it, but that's very
that's very
strange.
weird. Yeah, maybe, I have the app on my phone. I just haven't set it up and I
Um,
don't know if it's just rerouting me by mistake. Let's see.
yeah,
It's not, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, try to set it up and then click on the link and it should work.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
shouldn't need the business because I don't have the business and I got in okay. It's the same one that you sent yesterday, right?
I believe
um,
so.
That was in the
oh,
email. Okay.
Yeah, it was in the email.
so
Same
you know
one.
what I'm gonna do? I'm actually going to just delete the business app for now because I'm having some issues installing it and not installing it, I'm sorry, with setting up my account and it's gonna take too long to go that way. So if I uninstall it, then it might help with going to my regular WhatsApp. Let's
Yes,
see.
exactly. And where are you coming from?
Excuse me.
What?
Hu- Houston. I'm in Houston. Well, I'm not originally from Houston. I'm from Dominica in the Caribbean. Okay, I see it now. Okay, so I just joined.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm from Dominica, so I'm from the Caribbean. So when you talk about
Mm,
the Caribbean, I'm like, oh. Um, Also, when I grew up, we grew up, I couldn't really participate because I got on the call. I could only listen because there was something else that I had to do in the moment. But I was listening to the part where you spoke about the cacao, the pods, we call it cacao, where I come from. And when I was a child, we would actually go and get the pods and eat them, suck on the seeds, because it was so delicious. The pulp is really good.
Yes.
Yes, we would do that. It would be like our little snack, and then there's like a vein that you'd like kind of. We really used to relish it. There was some cacao trees close to where we lived, and it was like a little grove, and we would go underneath there. And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, and they were very beautiful, red and yellow, and I was thinking to myself when you were talking about that, I was like, well, we didn't even know we were like totally consuming like this medicine for the heart, right? And who's to say that, maybe Taco was like, come and have some of this. You know what I mean? Like it really just called to us because it was delicious. But I'm just wondering about the effects. And then we also grew up drinking it. So what I do, I get most of my cacao from home. So we have it like in stick form, and it's pure. It's very, very actually it's very like really unrefined, you know? And
Mhm.
so I get it that way, and I tend to make it the way my ancestors made it,
Oh,
you
nice.
know? Yeah.
Oh, how
Hmm.
beautiful. I love that. Oh, what a magical experience that you've had growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in many ways. I'm realizing that now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, a lot, like even in Mexico, right? In my own family, my grandmother, I don't
Hmm.
think she was aware of what she was actually making. She would
Hmm.
make the cacao and make these balls, and then they would make hot chocolate, but
Yeah.
there was nothing else to it, right? It was just like a normal diet drink. But now that I realize, like, it's just been lost through the colonization and all the magic that comes with it is it's just unknown. So it's beautiful for you to connect back. Like it's not nothing is a coincidence, right? Everything happens for a reason. And so you joined just for that. Like it's amazing.
Hmm.
Thank you. I
I
love that.
agree. And thank you. Thank you so much for, I agree with reclaiming, and thank you for facilitating that. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. Yeah, again, like that's my mission is just to help educate and teach on this beautiful lost medicine and all the healing qualities that it has and the gentleness of it. And yeah, little by little, keep expanding the knowledge. And like I said, when the world comes out of balance, cacao comes out of the jungle to restore balance. And I think, we've gotten away from love as a society, as people. And that's what created wars and people fighting for properties and for money, right? That scarcity mentality. When we think we don't have enough, we start to panic and to protect and to fight for things that are really for all of us to enjoy. And the deforestation in the jungles, right? And all the things that we've caused in our environment. Mother Earth is just looking to clear and heal all of that. Um, So let me see the comments here. One thing I also want to say in the ceremonies, we do connect with visions, right? And yes, the magic mushrooms are beautiful, powerful medicine with cacao. And I in my pilgrimage in Guatemala, we actually did ceremonies with magic mushrooms as well, and called also Niños Santos, and holy children. But yeah, the ceremonial spaces help us and contain us and guide us in the right direction because there's a lot of very strong, powerful magic and medicine there. I was able to connect with my medicine woman and also connect with my grandmother so much in the ceremonies and with just cacao and preparing my cacao and feeling her loving support and energy, even though she died when I was 7. um, and I don't have any memories of her. I didn't have any memories because the last time I saw her, I was less than 2 years old. But with the cacao and the magic Niño Santos, I was able to connect with her, and she's been guiding me and helping me. Like I can feel her voice, I can hear her speaking to me. One time I had the candle on in my room, and I was just meditating and I heard her voice say, keep shining your light. Like keep shining your light. Don't let your light go, shut down. And it was just so, so healing. And I was like, oh, and I just knew it was her. And then in another ceremony, people have told me your grandmother was here. I'm like, I know. It's just so powerful. Like we can't truly understand all the magic and all the power and all the dimensions in the life and the afterlife. Like we have some concepts, but this medicine really helps us to connect all of all of it and in ceremonies. And so this is my invitation to you to join me if you so feel called to do so. It's 5 days. We'll be starting in August, so a month from now. Give you time to prepare, and I'll send the link on where you can find this beautiful plant medicine if you don't have access to it. And then get a discount as well from Coco Luca, which I'm gonna, and they actually have the medicina. My medicina has mycelium, which is the essence of the Niño Santos, which is beautiful for ceremony. Beautiful. Like I love that's my other medicine that I love with cacao. And I've actually, the last ceremony I had, it came to me that it's the medicine of cacao with Niño Santos, the Holy Children, is super powerful. And that's also going to be part of what I do. We're going to be holding ceremonies in Colombia, and when I go back, and then I'm going to start doing them here in the US. My first retreat is probably going to be here in the US in a year from now. So I'll send out more information in the group on that. And hold some in Colombia as well, because it's just a beautiful country. And that's where I've been living, by the Caribbean Ocean. Just beautiful, beautiful space to be in. So I have a special offer as well. The exchange for the ceremony, the week-long teachings and more connection to spirit and to our consciousness. The exchange is normally $4.99 US. But if you're able to sign up and register this weekend, giving $100 off. So it'll be $3.99 for you. And we can exchange and do that in the week of August 19th. And so that gives you about a month to prepare, 19th through the 23rd. And we'll be setting up that as well on Zoom so we could journey together and help clear some of this. But that doesn't mean you can't start now. That doesn't mean you can't start practicing with this beautiful plant medicine now every day. Like literally, you want to start getting into feeling those changes, those shifts, and start preparing your heart for any ceremonies that you want to do in the future. And it is life-changing. It literally changed my life, and I know that it will do the same for you if you so desire it. But it's a great way to initiate, to building the habits, to building the routines, because you can literally do this connection to cacao 10 minutes in the day if you need. If you only have 10 minutes, 10 minutes to give it, to connect, to center yourself, to come to your heart, to start your day off connected to the heart and to spirit, and to be able to let universe, life source flow to and through you, so that anything you create in the day is filled with love and peace and tranquility, to calm the nervous system down, to calm the stress down. Because the less stress we have in our life, the better we're going to be, the better off we're going to be, the healthier we're going to be, the more creative juices can flow, because we can't create when we're in stress. Creation goes out the door. It's the first thing, right? Because when we're in fear and flight, it's not time for eating. It's not time for sleeping or creating. It's time to like focus and get out of danger. And so the more we can get away from that and get into peace, love, and joy, the faster we can start making these changes in our external world and start to bring in the things that we truly desire. So it's my honor and privilege to help you and guide you. And thank you for sharing this space with me, and happy to see all of you. And thank you for joining me. Does anybody have any other additional questions before I adjourn you and let you go about your days?
No, thank you very much for offering this. This was great.
Oh, my pleasure. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. I really, really enjoyed this. I hope that you will join me in the group, in the community. The link there is in the group, or the link to the WhatsApp. It's also in your email. And I really hope you enjoy your day and your weekend. We'll be in touch. Mwah.
All
Love
right.
you. Thank you for
Bye.
coming
Thank you,
on.
Dan.
Thank you. Take care.